We should be back. I think we should have audio. I'm not entirely certain. We'll find out in a second. We should be back? Yeah, that's audio.
Okay.
Yay!
Alright, ready?
And it's episode 22 of Season 3.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Black Rims. I'm Josh Knight the First.
And I'm here telling you that it's episode 22 of Season 3.
Or episode 68 if you're counting. Sorry that we had to restart, guys. We had a little bit of problem with the audio, but we've got it all fixed now. Welcome.
Yay, welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, but what we were trying to talk about was that we're going to be going on a break for about 4 weeks.
Because we've got 2 episodes left in the season.
And then we should be coming back for the day before Halloween, probably a Halloween-themed episode.
I don't know, we've never done a themed episode before.
No, but we did have that one balloon drop that one time.
Yeah, but I remember because I spent the budget for that balloon drop. That was $4.32 for our one themed episode.
Which we just kind of filled up a whole bunch of balloons and threw into a laundry basket and then dumped over our head. It was pretty amazing.
It's not quite the ice bucket challenge.
No, that's okay. It doesn't need to be.
That's fine.
I want to thank our patrons from patreon.com/MarsGirl who continue to make shows like this one possible. So thank you again for continuing to support us. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to keep these sort of things up. Speaking of shows, we did finally get out Part 2 of our adaptation terrors of The Guyver, the movie from 1991. Now, right now, that's only available to patrons, but that's going to change come tomorrow. Tomorrow, it should be up on thatguywiththeglasses.com, and I'm really excited for the rest of you guys to see it, too.
I don't think I'm just saying. I'm proud of the work we did on that one.
I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of long, but there are a lot of problems with the movie, admittedly. So, to those of you on YouTube, by the time you guys see this video, it should be up and available to you guys over on thatguywiththeglasses.com, so go ahead and check it out there. And then I can finally start getting to work on the other request reviews. The next one I'm gonna be working on specifically was a request review. Someone wanted me to do One Piece, just something, anything related to One Piece. And I really like One Piece, but I've never been able to really keep up with it very well.
There's just so much.
Oh, so friggin' much. Some people are on top of it week after week for both manga and anime releases, and I'm just not that kind of person. However, there is one singular episode OVA that exists that came out before even the TV series came out, and I found that OVA to be absolutely fascinating and actually has fantastic animation. Like, I love it. I think it's amazing, and not too many people have watched that one, so that specifically was what I wanted to review and share with you guys. So that's what I'm going to be working on next, and that shouldn't be too difficult to pump out, so hopefully that'll be out very, very shortly.
And admittedly, while we're on that 4-week break, we're going to be doing some important stuff, filming, hopefully.
I would love to be, yeah.
For the Family Common Writer Completion Project. Of course, we don't want to go without mentioning that. Thank you again to everybody who's been helping out with that. We've had a lot more pieces come in this week. We're very close to having everything that we need to get started, hopefully within the next 2 months. And I can't thank you guys enough. Your support means the world to us, and that's not making little of it.
Oh, no, not at all. And again, it's just very plain and clear that this is about a love for Justin, for Jew Wario.
Absolutely.
And I don't think all of this love and help and support would have come in for really anybody else. You know, it just means that there is so much love for this person out there that I can't wait to share it with everybody. All this love that everyone has come together to really make come alive. I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you guys.
But that having been said, we've actually got a show tonight, and we should probably tell you guys the stories.
Yeah, by all means. For starters, apparently there was a tokusatsu suit actor who became a thief, turned to a life of crime when he wasn't able to do suit acting anymore.
Very odd story, and also very sad when you think about it.
In a way, yeah.
Our second story for tonight is going to cover this new information that we have about the next installment in the Ace Attorney series, which has our main character, who's not Phoenix Wright, but I guess a descendant of his, predecessor, I should say, meeting up with the infamous Sherlock Holmes. And we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about that and how that might work in this upcoming game.
And then finally, we want to talk about net neutrality, and we've talked about it before, but yesterday, if you're here with us live, it was yesterday, was Internet Slowdown Day, and a number of websites kind of put on a show to show you guys how bad internet slowdown and fast lane and slow lane internet can really be if you're just trying to use the internet for any sort of generic purpose. It's important to bring up from time to time because it's constantly changing. So that's the direction we want to take that in.
Absolutely. And of course, we're going to get to those stories, but first we have to hit up our follow-ups. So first and foremost, what we want to talk about is probably one of the biggest things that's been going around lately, which is people are waiting, you know, tooth and nail, waiting to get inside GameStops and Walmarts to get their copy of Super Smash Bros. Coming out for the 3DS later on, just within a few weeks from now. Well, as it stands now, we've had a lot of people finding out and digging and coming to find that there are several characters who have been hidden inside the game that are now coming out to the forefront. People like Ness, Mr. Game & Watch, Dr. Mario, that stupid dog from Duck Hunt.
It sounds like a lot of these... You remember that leaked photo that we saw kind of a while back? It seems like some of them were now coming through. It turns out that was, in fact, our leaked roster.
Yeah, that was pretty accurate at that point. Now we can confirm, okay, that picture wasn't a fluke, that was the real deal.
Seems like it, yeah.
So now people are, you know, sounding off one way or the other. Oh man, it's awesome, I'm gonna totally own his Ganondorf. No, screw you, I got Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff's gonna be awesome. All I care about is beating the crap out of whoever's playing the Duck Hunt dog.
Yeah, like, I really feel like that whoever decides to choose Duck Hunt dog has decided to be the underdog, because nobody's gonna want to beat up anybody else. They're all gonna be like, you.
Yeah. No, go after Fox, not me. I already had him. I want you. Now, like that's the way it's gonna be at tourneys. It's gonna be like 3 foxes and 1 Duck Hunt dog, and it's just gonna be a massacre. No matter who it is, or really anybody's gonna own up on him. Really, probably out of any of these, I'd rather play as Mr. Game & Watch.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, he's a classic, and
yeah.
To me, he's just so friggin' lovable, but that's because we kind of grew up in that age of handheld, electronic, singular games, and Game & Watch was just friggin'... And then granted, we grew up more probably with Tiger Electronics, but it was the same kind of idea.
Same kind of idea.
You know.
Which kind of ties in... I don't want to get off on a tangent, but they had that Kids React episode this week, and giving, you know, teens of nowadays...
The Nintendo Entertainment System, yeah.
That was so depressing to watch.
Now, just on the real, though, some of those kids, it wasn't that they were too young. I mean, they all were, but it was more like they chose stupid kids on top of that.
Well, yeah, that's part of it, too, but even then, I would think the average kid today was a little smarter to be able to figure out, oh, this is what I have to do, and push the cartridge in, instead of just putting it in and then letting it go.
Well, what I guess I didn't really understand was the comment of, they asked the kids the question, so what do you think when you hear that this console pretty much saved the video game industry and this was the height and the pinnacle of gaming at the time, and the kids were going, people were out of their dang minds, and I'm like, really? We didn't exactly have much choice, and this was freaking amazing. There was nothing else.
See, that's being said very much from a stance of privilege.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you get to choose from 5 different major brand consoles. Back then, we had maybe 3. We had the Nintendo, and we didn't call it the NES or the Nintendo. No, it was just the Nintendo.
Right.
We had the Atari, and then we had the Genesis. That's all we had circa 90.
Well... Okay, there was also ColecoVision, but really ColecoVision.
Well,
and
you
Atari,
had your family had a ColecoVision, mine didn't.
Okay, really, both Atari and Coleco and the Intellivision had kind of died off by that point. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was those 3 at the time. But now you get to choose from your Xbone, your PS4, your 3DS, your what is
Wii U.
The
There's
OG.
a Wii U.
No, I was trying to remember the
other.
other. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. See, that's the thing. You always forget it exists. It's like, oh yeah.
Oh my god.
So yes, that's coming up pretty soon. You guys take your pick on who you want to play as in Smash once that gets out on shelves. So the next thing we wanted to talk about, we talked before about the proposed next installment in the Ghostbusters franchise, and there was the rumor floating around that there was perhaps the chance that this cast would be all female.
I don't know how I feel about that still.
Well,
I really don't.
As it stands, Bill Murray, one of the main original Ghostbusters, went on record as saying, you know what, that wouldn't be a bad idea. In fact, here are my picks for who should be in that cast. And he lists off the following actresses. Emma Stone, who people know from Easy A, the Amazing Spider-Man series. Kristen Wiig from Saturday Night Live fame. Melissa McCarthy from Bridesmaids, who was also starring with Kristen Wiig. And Linda Cardellini from Mad Men and the Scooby-Doo movies. Now, granted, most of the 3 out of 4 that he picked, not so much I don't think Linda Cardellini, have a very strong comedic background. So I don't necessarily dislike his choices.
Uh-huh.
The only thing I'm thinking about it is how well... We know 2 of them can play up each other very well, namely Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig, and Emma Stone has very decent chops as far as...
She's been on SNL before.
Oh, yeah, at least twice, and is very funny, and just has that kind of personality. My thing is, would it work now for the right reasons?
For the right reasons?
I say for the right reasons, purely for the comedy, and not for the fact that people would get behind it. Yeah, we have to support this because it's an all-women cast. Not let it be about, I mean, yeah, it's kind of about gender equality, but really what I want is a good, funny story.
Well, because, probably. I'm saying probably here, and I don't really know. If it's going to be an all-female cast, my concern is, I think you have a different concern, in that what we both want is for it to be about the comedy, and that these women would be... What would actually show is that not only are they all women, but, just forget that they're people and they're funny people.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
My concern is that the movie itself would turn it into its own kind of sexism, where, they gotta be sexy Ghostbusters, or...
no, I wouldn't want that.
Or they get into compromising sexy situations, that would be my concern.
Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and echo what one of the people in the chat here is saying. I would switch out Linda Cardellini for Aisha Tyler. That way we could have it be closer. There's at least the one African-American member of the 4-person team.
Uh-huh.
And at least she's got some comedic chops, too, obviously from Archer, and then helping out with hosting Who's Line now. That's a setup I could get behind. That one in particular. Just a little bit off there.
Yeah, I think I could see that, too.
But they're looking to shoot fairly soon, so if this is true... See, that's the thing that I wonder about, because Kristen Wiig was asked about this, and she said, hey, I would do anything Bill Murray says, but I can't say anything more. That's always the phrase you gotta look out for when you're talking about these movie deals, because once you get to the phrase, I can't say anything else about it, that means somebody talked to you.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that they actually casted you, but it does mean you were spoken to.
Yeah, and you can't say anything yet. And then there are some actors that are like, oh yeah, they totally talked to me, I didn't get it, but and they'll tell you, but if she's not saying anything, there might be some truth to it.
That's very true.
So we're going to keep an eye on that as well. Also to mention, I think it's still out there. If you guys go to your local theaters, Ghostbusters should still be there for the 30th anniversary. So if you get a chance, it should still be there, maybe for another week, if it hasn't already left. So yes, go check that out. And the last thing we wanted to cover is, of course, we're always on the pulse of Not Quite Justice League. Well, there were several leaked set pics of the new Zack Snyder-inspired Batmobile on set, so Snyder figured, you know what, enough people have seen this thing, let's give him a good shot. And I'll go ahead and post it here in the chat, and you guys can see for yourself what this thing looks like.
At least you hope you can, because you can see it, but actually it just shows me a broken picture. But
well, if you click on the link, it should just load.
Well, there's no link there, it's just this broken picture image.
Huh, that's weird. Well, in any case, what we're looking at here is what we've more or less seen. People are calling it the cross between a tank and a car, and I'm like, well, wasn't the Tumbler that already? It was pretty tankish, you know?
I mean, this does look pretty friggin' bulky and obtuse to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Now, I think it looks a little sleeker than the Tumbler, if you ask me. But the thing that was bugging me at first, and
I
some
would
people...
never call it sleek. Maybe if you're doing it in comparison to the Tumbler.
In comparison to the Tumbler, that's what I'm saying.
I suppose. I'm by no means am I going to call this piece of machinery sleek.
The thing that was getting me, though, was like, okay, older Batmobiles, and I mean like the Schumacher era, the Burton era, you know, further back, they knew that they had to kind of put the bat on the front, kind of like the older comic designs. here we don't have that. What we have is a gun turret right on the freaking front.
I'm just saying it better not shoot real bullets, because...
Well, yeah, because that was the first concern I had, was that this is completely sending the wrong message about Batman, that you're not seeing a bat face on the front of this thing, you're seeing guns pointed right at you. But then I remember, since they're pulling heavily from The Dark Knight Returns, they do clearly say that Batman's using rubber bullets off his Batmobile in there. So hopefully Snyder remembered that. Hopefully.
Hopefully, because I have to... I'm so sad, because at one point, I really liked Zack Snyder. And, like, this was,
You're talking about Watchmen, though.
300.
And 300, yes.
Watchmen, because those two things were pretty friggin' accurate to
faithful to the source material.
To their source material. Yeah, you can get on Watchmen for things here and there, but it's like we probably weren't going to get a movie that was going to be any closer than what we got.
Right.
And then suddenly Sucker Punch happened. And then the next thing I knew, everything sucked. And I don't know... like, at the time, I thought, oh, well, I guess Zack Snyder just needs to stick to, adaptations of things.
But then he got Man of Steel.
And then he got Man of Steel, and I was like, what are you doing? This is wrong! And now, like, yes, you saying hopefully, the way you're saying hopefully, that's all you can say now, because he very well could be shooting actual bullets.
Well, because let's not, and I don't want to stay on this too much longer, but yeah, let's be reasonable here. In Burton's movie, Batman used real bullets, and he also killed people.
Yeah, and that's wrong, too. I mean, it was a good movie, but it wasn't really
Yeah, that's not saying
Batman.
It was the most accurate thing in the world. And we're just hoping they've at least kept certain things right. Like, granted, the Tumbler had rockets and bullets too, but he never fired them at people. He used them to get out of situations. Right. That's fine. That's using it tactically. If they're going to use this turret, hopefully it's just tactically with rubber bullets and crowd pacification, were they to use that in the movie. Otherwise, not knowing anything about this, I think this sends the wrong image. That the first thing you see about Batman when he's driving up to you is guns pointed at you. Especially, and I just thought about this right now, especially living in I guess I'd call it a post-Ferguson world. Do we really want a vigilante that's showing up with guns pointed right at you?
Yeah, because if you're going, like, really early adaptation of Batman, sure, he did some not-so-great things, but you know what? I think the direction that Batman has gone in this, I fight, but I fight with kind of a pacifist sort of attitude along with it, I think that's better for our current society, quite frankly.
I'm just saying, there might be some problems there, so I hope they've really taken some good consideration into this little addition to the Batmobile. But that having been said, that's all of our follow-ups for this week.
Alright, so what were we going to talk about first? We were going to talk about, I mean, there's not really a fantastic picture of the particular dude. I think I found, like, a total of one, and it was tiny and not very good.
Yeah, there's not too many pictures of the guy.
So, what's the name of this suit actor here?
Well, this particular individual's name is Ihara Yatsutomo. He was a stunt actor who was working on several toku shows over there in Japan. Kamen Rider O's, Tenso Sentai Go Sager, which you guys see here, which was adapted over here as Power Rangers Mega Force. He was working on the movies for Kamen Rider Double and O's, the movie Wars, the Kamen Rider Double Returns movie featuring Excel. So he was working on some pretty high-profile stuff over there. Now this guy, apparently, what happened was he was working for, all this time on those shows, and what ended up happening is he received a fairly, I guess we'll call it, career-ending injury.
Yeah, and this was about 5 years ago, right?
He got a knee injury, and those are no joke. Whether you're playing professional sports, heck, even if you work at a warehouse, a knee injury is nothing to scoff at. That will end careers, and especially when you need to use your body like that, you need that part of your body to continue, and he couldn't. With that, he had to quit stunt work, suit acting.
That's really sad.
That is very sad.
Really sad, because he's only 32 now? Like, that's too early. How old was he at the time, then? Subtract 5 and 1. 27. I had to do that on my hand. This is very sad. So we're older than he was at the time he got his injury.
And mind you, he's trained for this sort of thing.
Like,
He's got
that's friggin'
skills.
young.
Now, mind you, keep this in mind, guys. Stunt acting is no joke, whether you're talking about here in Hollywood or over there in Japan. You have to train for years, get apprenticeships, hope you get apprenticeships, and get good enough and stylish enough to be considered to be on one of these shows that people and kids are going to be watching week after week after week.
Mm-hmm.
So to lose that crushed him. You know, he couldn't go on doing the thing that was his trained vocation. So unfortunately, as happens with some people, when you can't do the thing you love and bills are creeping up on you, he turned to a life of crime.
Well, what he wanted to do was go to actual acting classes, which he was starting to do, but it was friggin' expensive.
Which is also the case here.
Yeah,
You can't just walk in and say, "Hey, I was suit acting on the show. Can you give me a part?" No. Can you act? Well, no. Go get the credentials. So yeah, he has to go try and get the credentials to be an actor. See, he was trying to, keep it up, but that being expensive too, that leads him to the life of crime.
So this is the thing that really kind of blows my mind. He uses his stuntman knowledge and expertise to go on this life of crime and be a thief, stealing from people's houses and crap. And I'm sitting here going, so how were you not able to stunt act? Because he was... there's something I was reading was about, finding little notches and crevices and climbing
what he was
up
doing
walls
was
and stuff.
he was climbing up walls to second-story windows using basically parkouring his way Assassin's Creed style up apartment sides, getting in the windows and stealing stuff, and then getting out the same way. So much so that he earned the nickname Spider-Man from the cops investigating him.
That's ridiculous, yeah.
And yeah, that leads you to the question. So like, how could you not do the stunts anymore? And I'm thinking about it. Okay, trying to think about this logically. First and foremost, it's not often that we get to talk about somebody who very much their vocation could be used to great effect, because he was able to steal about 77,000 US in terms of everything that he stole over the course of years.
Yeah, it was 63,000 in cash.
Yes.
And then the rest of it was just stuff that amounted to a total of 70-some-odd thousand dollars.
And he was doing it for about almost a year.
And people, I think what I was reading was, like, he was riding his bike around these different areas, and people were, like, watching him eye these different houses that looked like nobody was in them, nobody was home, and they gave him a nickname, too.
Spider-Man.
No, other than that, they were...
Oh, he had another?
Yeah,
Oh, no, I see what you mean. They called him a tall, good-looking man on the prowl.
Yeah.
So, like...
So it's like these people friggin' knew, and yet it took them months and months and months.
Well, because they say he was doing this from November of 2013 to June of this year. That's, what, November, December, January, February, March, April, May...
7 months?
8 months. He was doing it for 8 months. That's pretty good, all things considered. If he went 8 months without getting caught.
Dude should have, like, opened up his own gym or something. Like, he could have been a teacher or something. Even if he couldn't physically do the performances himself, he could have done something with it, I think.
See, that's the idea we'd like to think, is that he could have done something else with his skills. And admittedly, yeah, it would be nice if he had. Unfortunately, when things are very pressuring, I would think. Yeah, like people are saying in the chat, he went Walter White. You can't if you can't use your skills legitimately, you got to do it illegitimately to pay the bills. You got to do what you got to do. And I don't know that many people, I guess over here, knowing anti-heroes and underdog characters such as a Walter White, you would think, no, let that guy go. He was just down on his luck. He's all right.
Yeah, but
and nobody got hurt.
Stuff.
Well, yeah, he took a lot of stuff and probably pawned it.
He did how many? 40 some odd?
He was indicted on 43 separate counts of theft, all of which he admitted to. So at least he was honest about it when he got caught.
Yeah, but that's a friggin' lot, okay?
That is a lot.
Like, other than just the amount of money, he probably stole from a lot of people. He inconvenienced a lot of people.
Probably. Now, here's the thing I'm also thinking about, too. Like, he gets the nickname Spider-Man. I'm not saying he did do it because the story doesn't mention. He didn't dress up to do this, did he?
Well, I would imagine he at least dressed in black.
Dressed in black and had a mask, but I'm saying he's not wearing armor, and he's not, crawling off the side going, Toll!
Well, wouldn't that give away, huh? We had to let this guy go, who was once a suit actor, and there's this dude who's, like, dressed up in the suit that he was originally acting in, going, because he was apparently, like, a bad guy.
Oh, okay.
He was, most of the time he was a bad guy, it would seem.
Hey, it's important to be a bad guy in those things.
Uh-huh.
The bad guy stunt actor is just as important as the good guy stunt actor. Actually, Akiba Ranger made a very good point
That's
about
true.
why that is. Because, you can't have a hero that shines without a good bad guy.
Very true.
So somebody's got to get punched, somebody's got to get kicked, somebody's got to explode in reverse. So, yeah, that's the thing I'm wondering about. Like, what's going to happen to this guy now? Obviously, he's been indicted. He's probably getting a jail sentence. My only thing is, like, if this had happened over here, like, if it had been just for argument's sake, if it had been a Power Ranger, a former Power Ranger who got caught doing this mess, you better believe...
People would have made fun of him.
No,
like
not only would
business.
people have made fun of them, they would have gotten a freaking reality show.
That's true.
They would have gotten a reality show, and they would have had a made-for-TV movie about how this was possible, or how it happened.
Or heck, enough years removed, they would have made a Hollywood movie out of it.
Yeah, because they make movies out of crimes all the time.
Yeah.
Real crimes that happened. It's just... I can't... I honestly do. I feel very bad for the guy that he had to...
That those circumstances came along, the ones that led up to him deciding, I need to go this route. Especially because I can't say it enough. I feel like it ended his career way too early. He was too young.
Oh, no. By no means... Like, Seiji Takaiwa, the main guy who suit acts for the writers now, he's in his 40s. Like, he's still in his prime. I mean, I thought he was slowing down a couple of years ago, and then I see Guy, and it's like, no, he's still doing it. He's still putting it out there every week.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys, they give up about as much as, arguably, say, a pro wrestler. Putting their bodies out there.
I'd say so, yeah.
Because, yeah, it's about the same amount. You're selling these shots, you're selling that you're getting hurt, and yeah, you've got protective gear on, and you've got mats to land on, but you can still get really hurt in these things.
Sure, there's always that element of risk, but you're specifically trained to reduce the amount of risk at all possible costs.
And
that doesn't eliminate it by any means.
By any means. So really, I would hope that once this guy's sentence is done, somebody has the kindness to do him a solid and get him some form of work.
Some kind of job. Because I would imagine he wouldn't have gone that route had it been easier for him to actually work.
Exactly.
He probably poured so much of his life, because you have to train, you have to be under a certain age, too, when you start.
Right, because I actually, we were looking that up for myself once, what it would take to be a stunt actor.
And you were right at the cusp of
being cut off, and this was like, what, a year, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I just barely turned 29. I'm too old to be a stunt actor as far as these guys are concerned.
As far as training is concerned. And most of the time, you get trained, you're pretty young, so that they can continue to train you without fear of risking injury as you get older.
Yeah, because the younger you are, the easier it is for your body to bounce back.
That is probably literally all that guy knew how to do. That's probably what he poured his entire life into, and so when he lost that, it's like, well, what am I supposed to do with my life now? Because I don't know how to do anything else.
I almost commend him that he was smart enough to figure out, well, technically I know how to scale a building now. Why not? Mask on. Stuff. Mm-hmm. So, really, it's like, can you blame the guy entirely?
Yes and no.
Yes and no, right? Because it's sad, but at the same time, you wish there was a better option. But probably to him, like, I'm not trying to belittle. Yeah, crime is bad. Don't steal, guys. Don't steal. Public service announcement. But really, if you're there in the suit acting or even pro wrestling, for that matter, line of work, take care of yourselves and make sure to reduce any sort of injury at all. Because I remember you telling me a story about working on, what was it, one of your anniversary vids for that guy with the glasses, and somebody could have gotten really hurt.
Oh yeah, that was very much a possibility. Yeah, don't do real stunts with people who don't know how to do stunts. I'm gonna leave it at that. If one guy knows how to do the stunt, great. Don't make the other guy do the stunt.
Yeah.
The other guy who's never had a day of stunt training in his whole life.
And I think we'll just leave it there for the time being. Hopefully this guy will be rehabilitated both physically and socially, I guess.
I
guess
guess
that'd be the
because
way.
he's going to be locked away
Judicially.
for a little bit. Judicially.
Yeah, let's
Judicial recovery,
Did you-
if we can call that a
Yes,
thing.
judicial recovery. That's what we're going to call it now.
Sure, Josh.
Alright, so moving on to our second story. What we're talking about now is the newest installment of the Ace Attorney series, which is going to be called Ace Attorney, The Adventures of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Now, mind you, that is the Japanese title. We haven't gotten full confirmation that this is going to get brought over here, although more than likely, yeah, it's probably going to get...
Likely, yeah. It took forever for the Leighton game to get to us.
We barely got that last week.
This is so ludicrous.
And that took how long? How many years?
1 to 2 years, something like that.
But at least...
Something like that.
Yeah.
So we know that this is going to be a prequel to the previous Ace Attorney games, and that this actually takes place in England, not in either Japan or America. So what you're looking at here, this screenshot in particular, is the predecessor Naruhodo alongside Sherlock Holmes.
Yes, the famous detective of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's invention. And it's got people very interested, like, oh, it's like a crossover that I always wanted, but I didn't know I wanted.
So, like, we kind of knew that this was going to happen for a few months now, but now we've got more details on Sherlock himself and Watson, and I'll come back to this picture that we're looking at right now in a minute, but just so you know, this is Watson.
Iris Watson.
Iris Watson, who they say, same as original Arthur Conan Doyle canon, she is writing the Sherlock Holmes stories,
Adventures.
Yeah, so...
And she's get this, she's 8 years old, but she holds a medical PhD.
Okay.
like, okay, first off, Little Miss Washu knockoff over here. Like, really? Like, do we have to turn everybody into a little 8-year-old girl?
Well, yes. You ever seen Milky Holmes?
No, I have not seen Milky... What is Milky Holmes?
Milky Holmes was this anime series, and in fact, you know that, that free-to-play MMO that I had been playing recently called, Onigiri?
Yeah.
Not a particularly fantastic MMO by any stretch of the imagination, but they've got this weird crossover with Milky Holmes, who ironically looks more like this Watson here, except with the flappy hat,
the Sherlock Holmes
the Sherlock Holmes flappy hat, and she's in a skirt, and she's got pink hair, and so she's supposed to be Sherlock Holmes, and then there's another little girl who's Watson, and then there's another little girl. They do the crime solving thingies. It came out a couple years ago, and for some reason in ancient Japan they put Milky Holmes in there inside Onimusha. Inside Onigiri.
No, they should put her in Onimusha. That
yes,
would be
they should put Milky Holmes
way more
into
interesting.
Onimusha. And then she can stand next to Jean Reno, and they can go on adventures together. This is the dumbest idea.
I wish there was fan art.
I wish. Jean Reno and Milky Holmes. Sure.
So anyway, getting back to the point, this isn't the first time that we've had to little girlify, or we've had to deal with a little girlified character related to Sherlock Holmes.
And it's not the first time that Japan has touched Sherlock Holmes either. Remember that time that Ghibli had that one TV series where Sherlock Holmes was like a dog or a wolf or something, and
wasn't it a dog?
He was. I think it was a dog, and everybody was a dog.
Yeah,
everybody was a friggin' dog. And we got it over here, in fact, I think. I don't know if there ever was a VHS or a DVD release. Somebody could probably tell me that, though.
Probably.
The internet will tell me that later.
So anyway, getting off Watson and getting back on to Sherlock. So basically what we're being told about the game is that, yes, it is set in London, not Japan. We're told that based off the prologue of this game, Ryunosuke, this earlier iteration of Phoenix, has to go to London to learn about the legal techniques of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And as such, that's going to make solving the cases a little bit different, because since this is the past, They're saying it takes place towards the end of the 19th century, which basically makes it the Meiji era. This story doesn't have all of the modern conveniences that you're used to in a Phoenix Wright game. Like, oh, I can dust for prints, I can X-ray something. No, you can't put up with any of that stuff because it doesn't exist yet.
Well, here's what I imagine, right? Like, each one of the Phoenix Wright games up until this point has had somebody who could do some sort of supernatural something. I imagine that that's going to come into effect at some point. Like, who's this other chick? Like, I don't have a picture of that title screen here to show you guys. But there is some other companion chick that Naruhodo has along with him. And
I can't get a name just yet. We're still waiting for a little bit more information to come out.
Yeah, but there is a picture of this other character. And I'm going to assume that she can do some kind of supernatural crap.
Well, I'm willing to bet that if he's a descendant of Naruhodo of Phoenix Wright, then she's got to be a fae.
Pretty likely, I would imagine.
And if she's a predecessor of the fae family line, then definitely, yeah, she's going to have psychic power of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
Which will... But see, that's the thing, too. Like, if this is the Meiji era, this is the period where Japan's starting to come up on its own in terms of military power, in terms of standing on their own 2 feet.
Kind of, yes. But this was also the period where Britain had come over to Japan and started enforcing their ideals onto the country. So yes, there was that turn. If you think it might be easier for a fanboy to kind of look at it in terms of Rurouni Kenshin.
Well, yeah.
There's this turn of period where they're saying, okay, we're going to outlaw swords and crap. You can't go walking around with these weapons like this. And there's very heavy British influence within the country because they're stationed there at the time. And they're also starting to influence how people dress, the way roads function, driving on the left-hand side of the road, that sort of thing. That's why Japan drives on the left and not the right. It's because of Britain. Because Britain was there when we weren't, when we were too busy fighting amongst ourselves.
Right.
So that's the kind of world that we're living in now. Now, granted, it's not taking place in Japan, it's taking place in England. So, that makes me very curious to see, okay, why did he go over there?
Well, like you said, Ryunosuke goes over there to learn about the legal proceedings, how they work there in England, meaning he's going to help, or actually probably watch and help, Sherlock Holmes solve crimes there in England. So, the thing that really we're getting at is how are the game mechanics going to work? Because if you can't dust for prints, you might have photography, because photography is still relatively new in this time period, so you might still have photo evidence. I'm thinking a lot of it's going to be based off testimony from people.
I would imagine so, and so you're going to have to press people, or I wonder if they're going to do what they did in the most recent Ace Attorney games, where you've got some character who can sense motive.
Yeah.
I would imagine you'd have to have some other sort of supernatural element in order to continue the gameplay.
Well, I'm wondering, too, whether or not Sherlock here... Because if you look at the picture of Sherlock, he's...
Yeah, I've got this picture of Sherlock up right now. He's kind of cool looking, but...
No, he's pretty pimp looking, but he looks a little steampunkish, just slightly.
Just a little. I think that's just enough for me to tolerate. Like, I'm really curious about... You see these vials here on his pouch?
Yeah, that's what I was going to get at.
Like, these 3 multicolored vials, blue, red, and yellow.
That reminds me of a gameplay mechanic from this last one that we got over here, about how they were able to sense motive. Because you remember you had to choose between those different... I forget what how it works exactly. To be able to choose, oh, well, this person's sad when they should be happy about this, or vice versa, when they're taking testimony. So I imagine that's got something to do with it, and actually people are pointing out, too, the goggles. Maybe Sherlock invented something that allows him to see evidence.
Perhaps. Right now, those goggles just look like they're supposed to look cool.
Well, actually, too, that's basically what's Sherlock Holmes without a magnifying glass.
That's true.
So maybe that's what those are, just magnifying glass goggles.
Well, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, hey, if it works for the Ghostbusters, it can work for Sherlock.
He's got a tiny satchel. There could be a magnifying glass in there. I don't know.
And also, am I seeing this right? Does it look like he has a gun?
Well, let him use a gun.
Oh, yeah, he could use a gun. I'm just saying.
Let him have it.
It's not too often that, people are required to use a gun in a Phoenix Wright game. I mean, a gun might be at the center of something, but not quite.
It's happened
It's
from time
happened.
to time.
Now, here's the thing I'm wondering about, because what I'm not looking forward to is, because, don't get me wrong, I love the Ace Attorney series. Awesome series. Very good storytelling. What I'm not looking forward to is people finding out that when this gets the okay, alright, we're going to westernize it, the people who don't know that much about Phoenix Wright, but they've been watching Sherlock, the people who are going to come in like, does that mean Benedict Cumberbatch is going to do the voice?
Well, one,
no.
there's not a whole heck of a lot of voice acting. Two,
Yeah, well, there was some voice acting in this last one.
no.
What about Leighton versus Wright?
I haven't played it.
I'm pretty sure there's some voice acting in there.
There's some cinematic cutscenes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe. But, no. He's not going to do that.
No, that's like, I just don't want to hear it, though. Because, people not knowing any better are going to say, oh, it's a possibility, right? Because that's Sherlock and this is Sherlock. Sherlock. Can't we just let there be more than one version, please?
No, we have to also acknowledge that there's multiple different Sherlocks, and then put those Sherlocks all together in the same room, and then have them all make out with each other, and then put it on fanfic.net.
See, you joke, but that's not a joke.
That's not a joke. I'm sure that already exists. I am like 90% positive that already exists, and now they've just added one more Sherlock to the picture.
Yeah.
And so somebody's gonna have to go in and update their. I had to write a 4th chapter.
Oh wow, that only took you 30 minutes. Now see, here's something just to kind of get off this one, so we can have time for the last story. That's pretty awesome that they're throwing back to the OG as far as criminal investigation is concerned.
Yeah.
Who's admittedly a fictional character, but then again, so is Phoenix Wright. What would be cool is, what if we get a new modern version, but it's with a more modern detective helping out Phoenix Wright?
Are you suggesting Columbo?
Well, no, I was gonna say Monk, but
Dang
yeah.
it, I want Columbo.
Well, yeah. What if it's just like this? They've stopped trying to make their own games. It's like the Scooby-Doo 70s ones where every week it's a different detective helping him out. Like, this week it's Monk, next week it's Columbo, after that it's House. Like, just keep going down the line of different people, like, helping out Phoenix Wright.
Yeah, so I would imagine that would be the direction they'd have to go for a while, because I don't know what else they can do. They've already done a lot.
Like, I can just see the Columbo one now, like, they're there in the court proceedings. Hold it! Yeah, I just want to ask you one more question. Just one little thing that was bugging me. I can't really put my finger on what was wrong here. Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Yeah, I see
that,
it too.
Well, maybe that's just a pipe dream, but maybe somebody should just kind of, I don't know, fan make that particular Phoenix Wright installment.
Maybe.
And then have Capcom put the fan art of that on their official site.
As if it actually exists.
Yes, because they can't pull their own art.
So we do have one last story that we need to worm in here real quick.
So,
this is very, very important. What we're talking about was yesterday was what was known as Internet Slowdown Day. So, all these different websites, this includes...
Major high traffic websites.
Yeah, this includes Kickstarter, Netflix, Etsy, Tumblr, Reddit, tons and tons of other websites such as those. They didn't actually physically slow down, very little, if at all. But they did put up, like, what you're looking at right now are all these images from all these different websites where they have this circular loading graphic. And, Tumblr, if you went on Tumblr, it was this animated GIF. It's just going in circles. And I thought I noticed some pictures taking a little while to load. They eventually got there, but, that might have just
Tumblr
been...
noticeably was slower.
I mean, that might have just been me hallucinating, because some of these websites really didn't actually slow down. But the point of it was to bring attention to this very real situation in regards to net neutrality. And we've talked about net neutrality before in the past. This technically, all things considered, isn't new. But net neutrality is really important, and to go back over it, because we do need to go back over it sometimes. Right now, if you have purchased a particular speed of internet, you get that speed of internet for the whole of the internet. You don't just go really super fast on YouTube and then really super slow on Netflix or something like that. But there are companies out there who would really love to have some control over just how fast different websites function.
Because basically the way they're looking at it is no different than racketeering.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're there, you know, just casually browsing Etsy, and it's like, yeah, you like the stuff you're looking at on Etsy there, right? Yes, I sure do. Yeah, it'd be a real shame if you couldn't look at it very fast, could you? Hey, you're looking at eBay, trying to snipe that bid. Yes, I am. It'd be a real shame if your internet slowed down just enough to where you missed that bid, unless you pay up.
Unless you pay up, and that's the problem. So you're looking at companies such as Comcast, which is about to overtake Time Warner Cable, which really sucks for us because that's our provider here.
Yeah.
Or Verizon, who really, and this is a big problem with a lot of old media. You know, we're talking people who understand television as it has existed over the past several decades and don't have any clue what the internet is. And they think that, oh, well, we're not making money off of these people who are using the internet and aren't watching TV, so we'll make money by making people pay a premium in order to get certain speeds for certain websites that they really like to go fast, because you would hate to have Netflix go really slow, and then try to buffer or have to reduce its streaming quality on you in the middle of a show, and that just ain't right, guys.
Like,
that just ain't right.
It would suck if, like, you guys were watching us right now and then we were suddenly like, okay, we don't want to freak you out, we didn't actually freeze. But, yeah, that's basically what they're saying. They're basically wanting to hold your internet speeds hostage. And, yeah, we already covered this story once before, but now it's another form of trying to get this passed by these companies. And really what we'll try and do is keep you guys abreast of this. That way every time they try to do it, they're just going to edit the wording just enough to pass it in a different form. So people are going to have to stay vigilant about this sort of thing.
So that's what yesterday's internet slowdown was about. Each of these websites was bringing attention to the fact that here in just a few more days, once again, they're going to try and pass yet another bill that's really going to put a damper on net neutrality. And what places like Tumblr, I specifically noticed, were saying, hey, we've got this link here, click this link, you'll be signing this letter, and you've got the option to call your congressman, call your representative. And in fact, if you put your phone number into Tumblr, then Tumblr's like, alright, we're calling you and we're directly connecting you to your representative. And I was like, holy crap, this thing's for real.
And people were doing it. People were getting on the phone with their senators and saying, hey, knock it off!
I got the phone call from Tumblr, and it tried to connect me to my congressman, and he was not answering his phone.
Yeah, some people just didn't want to put up with it, because that's the thing. Sites like Tumblr, sites like, I think Reddit was doing it as well, were putting out these links. Hey, see this little loading bar? Want this to go away? Follow this link, sign this letter, sign this petition. And we wanted to put it out there that's very important. You might have done this once before, a couple of months back. You need to do it again. You got to constantly be doing it, constantly keep telling them, no, you can't let them do this to us.
Because part of the problem, too, is that many of these representatives for your local region are unfortunately also lobbyists for big media corporations.
Yes.
So, like, they're freaking in one another's pockets, is what I'm saying. So the big problem is, like, hey, I hear you like money. I also hear you like a job. How would you like to not have a job in the future? Because that's basically what you're ensuring, is that I will not vote for you. And you may not have been a voter before, but you gotta basically say, hey, I've never been a voter, but now I'm gonna go out and register to vote just so that I can vote for whoever else is not you.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's basically the power that we all have to be able to tell them to knock it off with trying to take net neutrality away.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's gonna keep coming up. They're gonna keep trying to change it, and we need to try. Well, not try. We need to make sure it doesn't happen, because what they want the most is the same thing that we've always said Disney has the most of: giraffe money. It's
Yeah.
the idea of giraffe money. And if they can tell you how much you have to pay to watch your giraffes, then you need to be aware of that. That way they can't charge you money to watch giraffes. That way they get giraffe money. I think that made sense.
You know what? I think I lost you after a couple giraffes.
Giraffe money.
Alright. That's wonderful.
No, it's not wonderful. We need to stop
No,
this.
basically what I'm saying is that this is really important, and I know we have talked about this before in the past. Just considering that yesterday was Internet Slowdown Day, and I think it's on the 15th that they're going to try and pass this next version of this bill, which, again, it just keeps morphing and changing, hoping you guys are too stupid to notice. Don't be that. Don't be too stupid to notice.
You know what else tries to morph and change to spread a virus? That's basically what the bill is. No, think about that. That's a perfectly logical analogy. Mm-hmm. It's a virus that's trying to morph and spread and not be get around your immunities, your internet sensibilities of, hey, I want regular speeds no matter where I go, whether I'm browsing Netflix or, God forbid, Yahoo, wherever you go.
Yahoo? Well, what made you bring up Yahoo?
Well, I don't think anybody uses Yahoo.
I would sooner bring up, I don't know, Drama Fever or something than Yahoo. I think more people watch Korean drama than use Yahoo.
Well, I was trying to use one very high example and one very low example. Yahoo was my low example.
Okay, whatever. I just think it's also really interesting that even though these are all massively different websites that were partaking in Internet Slowdown Day, it just really kind of shows how these different websites are all on our side, and that's because it affects their business too.
Right,
because why would we go to watch Netflix if we can't freaking use Netflix?
Why would I try to use eBay if I know I'm not going to have the speed to snipe what I need? Mm-hmm. That their well-being relies on our collective action as well.
Yeah.
So really, we've all got the best interest at heart, unless you're Viacom.
Unless you're Verizon, unless you're Comcast, in which case, throw some money at it.
Or take some
money from it.
So yes, by all means, there are several links out there. Just type in Net Neutrality into your search bar and you'll find any number of links to send the email, call your congressman, let other people know, retweet, share, let people know that this needs to be people need to know about this, and people need to put a stop to it.
We're at war, people. Do you understand this? We are at war.
I'm ready.
You almost hit me in the face with that.
It's not loaded.
No, you almost hit me physically in the face with that Mega Blaster.
It's okay, I got it. Better?
It almost got me here, like in the ocular cavity.
I don't want to hit your ocular cavity.
Okay, well, I think we need to stop.
Okay, I'll put the gun away.
That we have reached the end of what we can do with this. Let's stop while we're ahead.
Yeah, once we're busting out with the guns, and maybe we're sending the wrong message.
Yeah, we don't want to... No, Congress, we're not coming to you with... No, I'm sorry. No, just emails, just phone calls. Leave it at that. I think that is where we will stop the episode for now, but if you are here live with us, we'd sure appreciate you guys hanging out with us for an additional half an hour, and if you're on YouTube, this is where you need to be. You got 2 more weeks until we go on break, and then you're going to have to wait another 4 weeks, but then you could still come down here and hang out with us.
You want to.
And have some conversation with us.
Bring your friends.
It would be fun, I'm just saying.
Bring your friends.
Bring people you don't even know, like that terrible downstairs neighbor that everybody has. Like, we've got one. Maybe I don't really want him up here or anything.
No, find somebody else. Find a coworker.
Oh, that might not work out very well for me.
Okay, well, find... You know what? Just find somebody, please. Anybody.
Oh, God. Please, send help. So for now, we'll go ahead and wrap the show up, but you can totally reach out to us at any time during the week over on Twitter, and I'm at MarsGirl.
And I'm at Josh Knight First.
So until next week, we'll be seeing you guys later.
And this has been this week's Beyond the Black Rims. We will see you next time.